Investors and traders, welcome to the channel Market Chart Pattern. Today's 29th of December 2024. Hope everyone is having a great day and the weekend. We will take a look at the AMD stock today. This has been a request coming in from one of the subscribers. As always, this video is for educational purposes only and it is not a financial advice. So before we start to take a look at the stock, let's actually take a look at the semiconductors in general. So AMD is part of it. So we'll take a look at the SOX, which is the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index. And you can see that it's just been rising nicely, but ever since the July of 2024, it's just gone into a trading range. It has happened before as well, so you can see that on the onset of January 2022 when the broader indices and in particular Nasdaq, which had topped in November of 2021, they started a corrective move. So inflation does play a role, and other than that, there are cyclical aspects towards the semiconductors, which we have discussed in one of our couple of our previous videos. So here we go. We take a look at the weekly chart of the SOX Philadelphia Semiconductor Index. It has completed a nice ABCD, where the CD leg is 1.272 times the AB leg. And what we can see is the market has actually retraced back. Now it's just not the only thing around here. 1.272 times, which is CD leg, is the bigger cycle. There were smaller cycles coming into it, in different, which I've highlighted in blue color, and then there's this black one which is completed around here. Now the key thing is that it corrected about nearly about 30%, minus 27.83%, and it's just gone nowhere. It's just in a trading range, and it's being capped by the 61.8% retracement. And we'll just move down to the daily chart now. Here we go. So here we can see things a little bit more clear. Let me move this right here. So what is happening is once the top was formed right here, it retraced about 38.2%. I don't think I have got it marked here, but it was nearly 61.8% from here, and from here I believe, let me actually move it back, there you go, so 38.2%. And the move, this is 5th of August, the move was so strong, it went right below that, but it was able to close higher. So this is really important. And now what it's doing is just being capped by the 61.8% retracement, and what we are looking at is sideways price action. So two things are happening here. Either we are forming a higher base, and if we begin to move higher, 53,000, higher than that, then we have a pretty good chance of moving higher, tackling these all-time highs, and maybe even moving higher. Otherwise, we could have this head and shoulder in place, and we could be looking at an ABCD move, which could actually see the index move lower to about 35,000, where you can see there is going to be a very strong support coming in at the 61.8% retracement of this low to these highs, and we'll have a 1.618 expansion and ABCD right here. So we're going to have a very strong pattern once it gets there. There is a chance, because this consolidation has been going on for quite some time, that we might be forming a higher basing pattern, and we could move higher as well. So we'll just keep on watching here, but so far the 61.8% retracement is capping it. Now let's move down to the AMD stock itself, and I'm going to move down to the longer term, which is going to be this monthly chart right here. So here we go. So what are we looking at? It's a really long-term monthly chart, and we have a clear ABCD, which is the 1-to-1 price projection, which completed around this 220 mark. The market went slightly above there, very close to the 1.618 expansion of this BC swing, and we have seen a pretty large correction. So if we were to just take this tool and look at how far this market has come, it has come down about 48%. But this stock has actually done a move like this previously as well in 2021, and it was down about 66%. So whenever there has been a sort of an inflationary environment, this is what we saw. We saw the market actually retracing. But here's a different situation, because here the broader Nasdaq has actually been moving higher. So different situation, because the Nasdaq in this period, the overall market, Nasdaq 100, they were also moving lower, and the stock was moving lower. But right now the situation is different, because the Nasdaq has been raging higher, whereas the stock has been moving lower. So this stock is actually weaker than the market itself. So what we can do is we can bring in NDX. So let me actually do it on a new price scale right here. You can see this divergence here. So look at this part. In this part in 2021, when the stock began to correct, the Nasdaq also was correcting right here. So the overall market, Nasdaq 100, started to correct. The stock was also correcting. Here, the Nasdaq has actually been raging higher. So you look at this part right here when the stock topped, but the Nasdaq keep on rising. So the stock is actually weaker than the overall broader technical tech market itself, which is the Nasdaq 100. So make a note of that, and then what I'm going to do is remove this, which just shows that there has been a rotational aspect in the chip stocks. Not all of them. Certain stocks like Nvidia still has done pretty good, but stocks like AMD, which are also chip stocks, they haven't done that well in relative terms when you compare the stocks. The other concept is the market symmetry concept. So here we go. So the correction itself, where the market is right now for the AMD, it is actually same. So the market symmetry is there in absolute terms, and also where the market is pretty much trading right here, where these pretty much the lows are, we have the market symmetry here concept. There we have the 78.6% retracement of the lows on the 2nd of October 2023, and then if we go back to the lows of October 2022, we have the 61.8% retracement, and we have the 50% retracement if we go all the way back to January 2016. Now it's difficult for me to actually the lows are pretty much very similar around here to January 09, when the broader bull market had started back in March of 2009. So we can take either of these lows, but they're very similar. So we get a point where the market is pretty much where it is now, that we have pretty good support coming in. However, this is a monthly chart. The month is not over yet. We have got 2 more trading days to go to end December, and then we'll be also ending the year 2024, which has gone by rather quickly. And it will depend how it will close. Now, whether it will just jump higher and $20, more than $20, and close positive, chances are unlikely, but in markets anything is possible. And if it closes negative for the month, then it will still be closing as a negative candle. So the monthly momentum remains negative for now. Moving down to the weekly chart, what we can see is we have a triangular pattern here, which you could also call it a pennant. I like to call these dynamite triangles, so DT, because when they don't work, or when the market moves out of either one of these trend lines, the move is pretty dramatic. So this is why it's like a dynamite exploding. It's like an explosion happening. And what we have seen is a clear break to the downside on the weekly term. We have seen a couple of weeks here, but it's also getting close to a support, relative support around 114, which is 200-week moving average. Getting below that is actually not going to be positive at all. But I'm going to show you on the daily chart what we are really looking at. So keep in mind that this dynamite triangles, this market actually moved below the lower part of it, lower boundary of it. Now let's actually go back to the daily chart. This is where it is really interesting. And here, this is the big ABCD which I've drawn, which we just saw on the monthly charts. The same. Let's focus on the correction that took place in starting in 2021, late 2021. So I've tried to highlight these in terms of the ABCD, which are really cycles that I like to take a look at, and you can clearly see there are a number of them. They're color coded here. What we have is basically a move starting right here when the top came in on the 30th of November, 2021, and if we just take this red one ABCD, it completed round about the 61. $61.30, and the actual low came in around 51, so about $10 lower. But this was the larger one, and within the AB leg we have this black one. I've not labeled it, but if you look closely, it is actually an ABCD. Within that there was also this purple one, which is even the smaller one. And then what we have also going on is this purple one, which I've labeled here. So that actually went a little bit lower to about 51. The low actually came in around 50, 53. So we were getting to a confluence of a number of things. We had this 61.8% retracement coming in around 63. We had the bigger ABCD, and then we also had this purple ABCD completing a little bit lower. And what the market did was it actually eventually formed a bottom, which was kind of between these two levels. Now, it would have been difficult to know at that time whether it was a bottom or not, or whether this bottom was actually going to stay put. And what happens is that the true bottoms, they actually get tested. So they get tested, and this is exactly what happened here. Sometimes this test is so strong that the market could actually try to take this low out. It could come all the way right here, maybe even a little bit lower, but then the price rejects lower prices, and then that we are actually starting we are forming a higher move higher because the double bottom formation. So this one came in right about to 78.6% retracement. There we go, and that would have been a much safer entry, but of course it came in quite a bit late, in January of 2023, whereas the stock actually bottomed in October of 2022. So this is what that correction looked like, and now let's see what is happening right now. So here we go, and we have a number of things here. So I've tried to highlight them in terms of the ABCD cycles right here. So the black one, this is the bigger one. So we have the AB, and we project it from this point, which is the point C. We get a level around 103, and then we have this corrective move which took place in this red ABCD formation. I've not labeled it as ABCD, just a red one, and it was of corrective nature, moving right to the 61.8% retracement. Really nice textbook ABCD. Market was not able to take these highs out, so it began to reject higher prices, and then it moved right back into this 61.8% support right here. 61.8% from these lows back right here, and from this low it was the 78.6% retracement. This is what we have seen on the monthly chart. These are the same levels. And then what we don't have on the monthly chart are these smaller ABCDs because they are on the daily chart. And then we have this blue one, which actually completes around 107 level. So what I'm trying to get at is we are actually at a level which could be pretty strong support, but the momentum has been pretty bearish, as we have seen on the monthly chart. There is a possibility that the market could actually begin to move a little bit lower, try to test these lows. So anywhere between, which I'm going to give you a pretty large range, in fact. So anywhere between 117 to 107, and about $10 range. There's a likelihood that this market could form a pretty strong low, but we'll have to wait and see, because you can see that the momentum is so bearish. So we'll have to wait and see how the momentum will turn. So it might actually be better to keep on watching this stock, whether it has already formed because we have pretty strong support right here, whether it'll bounce right out of here, or whether it's going to come down and test these lows. maybe move a little bit lower and find support from this zone. Let me actually try to highlight it. It remains to be seen, but the ideal thing will be to actually keep on watching the stock, keep on watching the momentum indicator, something really simple as if the price begins to close above the 20-day moving average, which is this blue line, and ideally even for example the 20-day moving average begins to close above the 89 period moving average, which is longer term moving average that I like to use, which is in green. If price is closing above that, both of these, then the momentum is turning. But of course that takes time, and what we'll do is we'll just go back to this swing, and assuming this is a low which has come in, we'll watch this 140 level, 139, 140, which is 38.2% retracement. And then what we have seen is basically whenever there has been a rally of approximately this much, so this is a little bit bigger than this one, so it's roughly like this much here. This one was a little bit larger, in fact the same. So there you go. So that's another ABCD. And if the market is able to get above that, so let's call it 163, 78.6% retracement, and then that's going to be a pretty strong indicator that we might actually have seen a pretty good low in this stock. But again, with the momentum being as bearish as it is, I think it's wise to keep on watching it from the sidelines, and keep eye on this 20-day moving average, this 38.2% retracement, break of swing highs, so swing high like this one, a swing high like this one, and ultimately 162, but that's quite far above. So that would give or add further to the confidence that we might have seen some sort of a low in the in this stock, and then of course use tight stops. There you go. So that's another ABCD, very similar to what happened here. So I have used this here because this is the segment, and if we begin to get above this, then 160 we are looking at, it's going to give us a really good idea. But before that, what will happen is there's a chance the market really keeps on chopping around these levels, maybe a little bit lower around here, because there is pretty good support as well right here, and then the average, this moving average, begins to catch up with the prices, and then the price begins to actually close above the 20-day moving average, and this is where we can actually look at whether the momentum is turning. So I would say, in short, where we are in this stock is pretty good support here. Maybe there's a possibility the stock will move a little bit lower to around 107 as well, so this gray box, or it might have actually found pretty good support right here as well, so it could also keep on chopping in this trading range. But we should keep on watching it and wait for some turn in the momentum to the positive side, because you can see that the stock has just been moving lower and lower. So it has been forming lower highs and lower lows, but it might actually be entering a zone where all of this could actually conclude, and we might begin to see capitulation, which I don't think we have seen yet. But we might be getting close to it. Just an example, just look at this one here, right here. Pretty long time period, went from June 2023 to October, not as long as this one of course, but then it just began to turn when there was a really big nice move from the earnings, I believe, or very close to the earnings, maybe a day after. So the earnings might have been good, and then it just took this swing high out, so this swing right here. And that's the kind of action we would like to see when these swings begin to get taken out. So this is what we are looking at, the AMD stock. I hope you found this video of educational value and informative, and if you did, then please do subscribe to the channel and also give the video a thumbs up. So thank you very much, good luck and good trading, and I will speak to you guys soon.